I just fucking lost those tables. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. I don't know. Not sure what just caused my internet to go out, but my internet just blew up. And there's not a ton of tables running now. So the two that I was on kind of just sort of died. Ugh, it's saying I can't. Oh. Yeah, no, my whole internet went out though. Boom, made some money though, right? I was up. Ah, darn. Okay, you know what? It's okay. It's all right. In the interim, we'll keep the action hot with a heads up table. So let me try and. Yeah. All right, so yeah, the king queen here. Heads up, I don't think I need to re-raise, but I can play king queen profitably, and I'm gonna call once I've got overcards, and I can take it away on the turn potentially. I could do a little stop and go. He ends up checking back here, which is kind of strange. I'm just gonna go ahead and bet here for value. I'm not gonna play slow or anything. Yeah, so we won that. Go over some quick heads up strategy just for the heck of it. Keep the show entertaining at least. Generally, you can raise like almost all your buttons. Jack 4 is a little weak, but you can raise a lot of buttons playing heads up. And I think heads up is great practice. It's probably one of the things that's made me improve a lot as a player, because you get a lot of hands and you get to you really get to like see a lot of flops, see a lot of the cards run out, see a lot of interesting stuff, and then we'll. This probably isn't a great idea, but. All right, here, like, a lot of players react differently to leads, and I kind of want to see how this guy reacts. So a lot of, like, the early hands of heads up is sort of figuring out how your opponent plays, and also staying aggressive. So, like, I'm going to keep betting because I want to know, I want to be able to keep pressure on my opponent, and I want to see how he reacts to that aggression. And early on, you can make some plays that might not be as profitable for the sake of just trying to get, a better read on your opponent. Because you're only playing against that one guy, right? Like, you've only got that one opponent to play against. And so, it can be sort of, tricky to play if you don't have a good read. Here, this probably isn't a great bet, but I'm going to go ahead and make it. He timed down for quite a bit on that last hand. And so I think he might have a draw or like a weak jack or something. And so I'm going to keep betting. Oops. Okay. No, he had the ace queen. So that's fine. He played that well. Well, oh yeah, I think that a real money game certainly plays different than a fake money game, than a play money game. But I think what maybe they were saying is that like it's not all just about like making $1 million playing poker. Some people enjoy the game. Like if you've got a weekly home game that you play or something, some of that's just for the fact that it's a fun game to play. It's entertaining. I mean, you can still be playing with money, but not be trying to make a living off of it or something. And this guy's sitting out now, which is kind of annoying because he took a fairly decent sized pot off me. And yeah, so that's sort of what I would say to that. No, it's just kind of annoying that like he took a pretty big hand off me, and now he's not going to play against me anymore. So the heads up game. No, I just pulled one in. So now I have 2 games going. And I'm going to check the threes because I was trying to adjust the table size. Oh, yeah. Okay, so let me see if I can't get on another 6-max table. This one looks pretty good. All right, well, I apologize about that delay. I'm really not sure exactly what happened, but we're back live now. And let's see, we're almost about an hour in, so at this point, I'll let you guys know what the, like I said, it's not really a giveaway, but I'm going to start doing a regular weekly Leak Finder series on my YouTube, and it's going to be of subscribers. So I've got just about 60 subscribers. It's going up every day. I really appreciate everyone that's actually following my stuff and getting involved. I think it's really cool, and it makes me motivated to make better content and do more cool stuff. So what I want to do is actually go and let people upload hand histories or record themselves playing like I do. You don't have to have any audio with it, but just record your hands, and then I'll go through, make a video, and walk through what I think you could be doing to improve your game. To kind of find some leaks. It's a Leak Finder series, and so I think that'll be really helpful. The first one this Wednesday is going to be one that I did on Shark. And I watched his game, and like I said, he's just starting out in poker. So I found a bunch of stuff that he was doing wrong, and it's pretty cool because I think I'll be able to improve his play a lot, and that's a good thing. So that's what I'm going to do. What you're going to have to do to be eligible is subscribe on my channel, and then when I post when I upload this, just go ahead and leave something in the comments telling me, hey, I want you to do a Leak Finder on me, and I have the capability to send you the file. So I don't have anywhere to upload it yet. I'm going to work on that. Shark, you want to explain how you did it? I don't know if that's a Mac-only feature or if you found some other Windows versions. Yeah, and like my videos, when I do my raw recording, they're sometimes like 3 or 4 gigs, and then once I render them, they're like 128 megabits. So I try to keep them at very very high quality through my editing process. That way, when they get rendered and uploaded, they're the highest quality on YouTube, and that obviously is what I'm trying to do, is put out high quality videos. So, all right, we're back live. This is good. As far as we've got 2 6-max tables up. The show must go on. Next topic that I've got on my list that I wanted to hit was a little bit question I get asked frequently, almost every chat it seems like. And this guy's really short, and this guy's really short. And if we hit a king or a queen, I feel comfortable getting in on the left table for 14 or 18 big blinds. If I hit a king or a queen, I have no problem getting all in. This hand I can get away from now very easily. But again, stack sizes. Almost the first thing I look at before I considering calling, raising, doing anything is what the stack sizes are. And because of the stack sizes, I have no problem getting in with top pair, air 2-4, I can call with king queen. Poker legislation. There's a lot of misconception and confusion about what the legislation really does and what it's all about and whether or not it's legal or not. And a lot of what I do on my YouTube channel is trying to help people learn how to play poker, learn how to play better. Monday, I've got a video coming out that Shark helps me with. It's going to be on how to actually set up an account online and how to get money on there. He actually went through the whole process last week at some point, right? Right, so I'm going to try to put like a nice, clean, easy to follow instructional video up for step-by-step how to get money onto a poker site, get up and running, and get playing. Also, I'm going to have some reviews on different poker software and stuff that can help your game out, help you play a little bit better. But again, a lot of that's in the future. Monday, however, is going to be a video on how you can actually get money online legally. So, right, yeah, there's been a repetitive confusion about all the time when people hear I play online poker. Oh, isn't that illegal? Online poker was never made illegal. Now, maybe the gambling across state lines thing was, but online poker itself was never illegal. What the UIGEA, the Unauthorized Internet Gambling Enforcement Act, Gaming Enforcement Act, what that actually stood for, what that regulated was banks essentially doing transfers. And so it made it illegal for banks to process payments to and from online gambling, except horse racing. Of course, they left something out for horse racing, but not poker. So that's what it actually made illegal. The whole Full Tilt Poker Stars thing, last year, a year and a half, 2 years ago almost now, Black Friday for the poker world, that was based on essentially, I think, money laundering and fraud. All right, so those were like different a little bit different because they were, again, I know enough about it to be dangerous, but they were essentially kind of disguising their payments and their transactions as things that they weren't to get players' money on and off the sites. And that's what was really, that's what they really got in trouble for. So again, yeah, online poker is legal. If poker might be illegal in your state, this or that, you got to look at your specific situation. Honestly, I just don't worry about it too much, but be careful, I guess. I know in my state it's legal. I can play at a dog track in my state of residence. I can all that stuff. So for me, I know it's good. You got to kind of decide for you what your situation is, but that's sort of the state of things right now, and hopefully it'll be opening up even more in the future. That's kind of what I'm looking forward to. Carbon, Bovada, Lock Poker. Well, yeah. Well, what I would add to that, having been someone who lost some money to Full Tilt Poker when they didn't actually have all the money they said that they were going to have, is that just, again, it's personal. That's a personal decision. At the time that was all happening, I knew that the online poker scene wasn't a sure thing. I knew that there was questions. So because of that, I wasn't keeping a ton of money on there. I think I had about $1,000, probably a little bit less. So that wasn't, I didn't lose my life savings by being on there. Some people lost a heck of a lot more than me, and that's unfortunate. And they were, obviously playing a lot higher level. So you just need to be careful. When I say bankroll, I don't always necessarily mean money on the poker site. If you play on 3 different sites, your bankroll as a total can be what's on those 3 sites. If you play live and you play online, most of your bankroll could be in a bank account that you just use to fund your poker account. You could keep 5 buy-ins online and be like, well, that's my limit for the day. If I lose 5 buy-ins, I'll redeposit tomorrow, and that's that's sort of how I handle my tilt or how I handle that, and I don't want to lose any more than that if something happens. So do whatever you feel comfortable with. I probably wouldn't keep more than $3,000 or $4,000 online right now until the legal stuff kind of gets cleared up. I don't know, maybe I would, but just be careful. Again, it's a personal decision that you have to make. So let's play these aces. I'm going to raise. We've got, this guy behind us. He could shove. That'd be, I guess that wouldn't be great, but nice big pot. Yeah, and the thing is that you can sometimes, you can sometimes go ahead and raise or limp. Like in full ring, a lot of times people will limp sometimes under the gun trying to get a raise, but in 6 max, there generally isn't a huge need to do that. Yeah, the first book is a little bit older, and there are a lot of different ways that you can manage your betting, like pre-flop, post-flop. There's a lot of different things you can do. Um, on the one end is like when you talk about game theory, which I don't know a ton about. I'm not a big game theorist, but I know a little bit about it just from reading poker and everything. On the one hand, you have kind of what's called unexploitable play. And where this actually comes into play in poker, and I'm going to isolate these limpers with the ace-3 suited on the button. The unexploitable play comes in. That's interesting. We got this guy flat-called. This guy is, clearly not a serious player, not very good, whatever it may be. But, man, we got all short stacks here. That's unfortunate, too. But for the third and final time, hopefully. Unexploitable play is play that cannot be exploited by your opponent. And the reason for that is that mathematically, wow, that guy should never, ever be folding there. So that's a great spot. We just made we made a lot of value by by playing against a weak player. There's nothing they can do to make you lose. And that can actually be accomplished in heads-up play. If anyone's played any heads-up, there's something called Nash equilibrium, and that is pretty much a chart that says, okay, with this many big bets, you can shove these hands, and there's no way your opponent can adjust his play to exploit that. And I'm not going to get into the details because one, boring, two, don't really understand most of it, but I just know that that's what it is. You push these hands, there's nothing they can do to exploit you. That is going to be unexploitable, and it will probably win money. But at the other end of unexploitable play, there's highly exploitable play, which can be vastly more profitable. And I'll give you an example. Shark's playing, 4NL, trying to build up his bankroll. If he bets half pot on his continuation bets, or if he bets a little more pre-flop than he bets with his aces, are his opponents observing that? Are they aware of it? Do they notice it? And I would probably say that on the vast majority of the time, they aren't going to notice any difference. And so, same thing with continuation bets. If he continuation bets full pot when he hits a hand and half pot when he doesn't hit a hand, are his opponents going to actually be aware of that? And here's a perfect example on the right-hand table of this bet fold idea. I'm going to bet out 225 into 265, and if he raises, I'm going to fold. All right, what hand do we have right now? We have aces, sevens with a king kicker. Pretty good hand. I'm going to bet half pot, and I think we'll probably either chop or take this down. But all right, so perfect. Easy hand. We bet the flop, we bet the turn, we got a lot of value out of our small ace, but we were prepared to fold the turn if he raised. If he raises that turn, we can get away and we can fold. And we wouldn't have been able to necessarily get away from the hand if we checked the turn. Shark, did that kind of make sense? As a difference between sort of what you do sometimes and then actually staying aggressive and staying after it, making him pretty much prove that he's got a better hand? Right. That's exactly right. Because we don't know what he's doing if we check and he bets. The options are he either has a better hand than us or he is, floating us and trying to just take it away. All right, so here we get 3-bet on the button. This is a real tough hand to call with. If we hit an ace, we may not be good. It's kind of an ugly spot. If we re-raise to 15, we'd be pot committing him, and we'd have to call a shove, which we're almost always going to be behind. So the stacks and the hand don't really work out, and that makes it a fold. We don't need to play back. Now, if he had less money and we could raise, maybe we could 4-bet there sometimes. And then we could fold to a re-raise. But in that spot, if we 4-bet and he shoves, now we have to call because we're getting better than 2-1. And there's almost no hand that's going to be a dog pre-flop 2-1, except for if we're dominated by an ace. And that's actually kind of, probably one of the hands he has. All right, so yeah, the question makes sense. What you need to think about when you're playing any hand is where the value comes from. Hold on just a second. So your value is either going to come from hitting a hand or making your opponent fold. When an opponent has and you can make an opponent with a short stack fold, or you can make an opponent with a big stack fold. Is it easier for an opponent with a very deep stack to get away from top pair, or an opponent with a very short stack to get away from top pair? Exactly. So when you play a speculative hand, and you know some of your profit has to come from getting somebody to fold, who is a better target to play that hand against? The person that is never going to fold middle or top pair, or the person that can actually get away from that sometimes? And then additionally, our speculative hands typically, you mentioned this, but our speculative hands can make a big hand. You can make a straight flush usually, or just a flush, or a straight, or those are the big hands that we can make with our speculative hands sometimes, or a set. If you want to call fours like a speculative hand, we can make a lot of money with those hands. And I'm just gonna min raise this guy, see if he can shove in all over the top, and we'll call. That's just sort of a technique to maybe make him think he's got some sort of ability to bet me off this hand by min raising. If I make a standard bet, he kind of knows I have to call, although he may not know that because he's not very good. Here we flop the set. How do we get this $4 from the guy? He seems kind of passive. I don't know. We could min bet. I'm not sure. It doesn't really matter. We could check. We can min bet. If he has any piece of this, he should shove, and then we can just call him. And there we go. So he had the king. It didn't matter. That's why I said it really doesn't matter in that spot. You're either gonna get his chips or you're not. How you play it is one of the minimal factors. Yeah. Right, yeah, you need to adjust your opponents, and you need to always have a plan. You need to have a reason that you're doing things. Again, when you're betting, when you're pushing all in, you need to be thinking, what am I trying to get this player to call with? I almost always try to at least throw out a couple hands that I think the player has when I play. I was when I was going through the last time, adding in some stuff to one of my last videos, I thought it was interesting because I said, the guy either has jacks here, he has, sevens. I'm going to go ahead and bet because I don't want to have to call his bet if it's the jacks or it was queens or something. But I was thinking through what hands it made sense for him to have, and he ended up turning over the better hand. But I had thought about that hand. I labeled that as one of the three things I thought he had, and so I thought because I did that, it didn't frustrate. I was ready for that, and I'm always ready for an opponent to turn over any hand. I try never to be. I'm obviously going to be surprised sometimes, but I try not to react. I try not to get frustrated, because if you expect your opponent could turn over anything, you're not going to tilt as easily. You're not going to get angry as easily, and that's part of thinking about a wide range of hands that they could be on, and just trying to never really be too surprised. I think I find it sort of digressed from the topic a little bit. Yeah, when going over, sometimes it's like almost embarrassing when you go over hands because you see what you did after the fact, and you cannot figure it out. You're just like, what was I thinking? Like, why did I do? I have hands like that all the time where it's just, what was I doing there? Well, not as much lately because I'm actually, posting these on YouTube a lot, so I'm thinking through every hand I play a little bit more. I still make mistakes, but I have some kind of justification, some kind of reason most of the time, and I probably could have bet this. Now I'm going to bet. He had like check fold. I think he had check fold clicked, so I'm going to bet out here. Just half pot and try to take it away. If you see that, I don't know if you guys actually caught that or if the number of frames I'm putting out caught it, but when I checked, it checked back immediately, meaning he had the either check fold button or the check button already clicked, meaning he had no interest in that pot, so I just went ahead and fired out a min bet and was able to take it down. That's free money right there. Anytime you can get a couple free big blinds, that's huge to your overall win rate. Again, the small things counted over many, many hands. I could raise this king 4. I'm not going to. 9-10, I do have 2 players left to act, but I'm getting really good odds right now. If one of them raises, I'll have to fold probably, but until then, I'm not going to worry about it. This is a really common spot right here. I've flopped top pair with a weak kicker. I've got 3 opponents to act behind me. A lot of them could have, a pair of 2s, a pair of 3s, as in sets. And then, 10 jack is in a lot of ranges, and that's better than me. So what I'll do here is I'll go ahead and I'll bet out about 3/4 pot. And if I get played back at, what can they have that they're playing back at me with? This is a pretty dry flop. There's almost no hand that they can have that's worse than mine that they're really going to want to mess around with. Not only that, they just watched me bet into 3 players. I'm not trying to get called from worse. I'm just trying to take this pot down. This is a situation where I don't have this is what I'm trying to get to call, this is what I'm trying to get to fold. This is a situation where I have the best hand right now most of the time, and I want to take the money that's in the pot right now while I'm ahead. And that's sort of an in-between thing that it took me a long time to understand, is that, yes, you always want to have a purpose, and yes, usually it's to get better hands to fold or to get other worse hands to call. But 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that would have been a good flop. Too bad. But again, you know, I don't. That's fine. The guy raised, and I don't need to call with 9-10 offsuit. You know, a club falls on the river, and we're screwed. Or now there's, you know, it doesn't matter. So don't worry about the hands you folded that you could have hit something with. So there's this spot. What I was talking about is there's this spot in between betting to get worse hands to call and betting to get better hands to fold, and that is betting to force out hands that have equity in the pot. So when the pot is 4 ways, if you looked at it mathematically, if you flipped all our hands face up, you would see that my hand maybe has, like, probably in that spot, my hand had 60% equity or 45% equity even against all 3 of those other hands. Because if the next 2 cards came out, there's a good chance one of those other hands would have won. And so by betting out, it may look like, well, no worse hands call and no better hands fold. Yes, but I am picking up, say, 40% equity or 50% equity in that pot that doesn't really belong to me, right? It belongs to those other 3 players. But by betting out here, I'm going to take the whole pot and I'm going to make them fold out the remaining equity they have in the hand. I don't know how much better I can explain it without like a whole PowerPoint slide, but does what I'm saying kind of make sense to you, Shark? And if you hear it in the chat, let me know what questions you have about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want to talk about what I said earlier? See, make sure you're understanding what I'm saying too. Yeah, no, that's good. The only thing I would add is, yes, there again, like just like Shark said, there are specific things that you may want to like limp aces or kings. What I would say is most of the time, I wouldn't mess around too much with limping queens, and even limping kings, like again for a very specific reason. But you have to have knowledge that somebody is going to re-raise, like. Another thing that could come up as a specific spot, and I'm going to raise the hell out of all these limpers. All right, so look, we've got $1.75 in the pot that nobody really cares about that much, I don't think, because if they did, they'd probably raise. Again, the only guy I kind of worry about, and I haven't seen it a lot at these levels recently, is the under the gun guy that limped. But look, he just folds. The other guy folds. The only guy that actually called was the guy in the small blind. And you know what hand does he have? I don't know, but I'm gonna make a small half pot bet because the pot's pretty big, and a half pot bet should get me the answer as to whether or not he likes his hand or not. And he doesn't, so he folds. And look at that. We used position. We isolated limpers, and we picked up this really nice pot with almost no real hand. I mean, we didn't have a hand on the flop. We had a like kind of crappy starting hand pre-flop, but we were able to take down a decent sized pot. And here, what value is there in betting? Maybe a 7 or a 9 calls. What happens if we get re-raised? I'm just going to check this and hopefully we take it down. And we do, but there's just not a ton of value in betting there. Here, I'm going to make a standard continuation bet. So, about 3/4 pot, maybe a little bit less. There are diamonds. Obviously, he could raise us with diamonds. That's kind of a crappy spot. He ends up calling. So here he calls. This is the exact same spot that Shark, you were in with your 9s. Again, I'm going to isolate these limpers. I'm going to add 1 extra big blind because I'm out of position. I want folds more. But this is the bet fold. All right, we're betting out. We're going to bet. Now, he ends up calling. What do we think he has here? Do we think he has a king? I mean, it doesn't seem likely. But what's he going to call with that's worse? I think here he has busted flush draws a lot, and he has lower hands that wouldn't call. The pot's $17, so I mean almost it's 2/5 of a buy-in. It's pretty decent. I don't really want to try and bluff him off a king. I think he's got a jack a fair amount, but he probably, okay, so that spot, he probably would have called with the jack. That's the one hand that honestly we could have gotten value from. Second question, and I'm going to, it looks like I don't remember doing anything on that left table, so it looks like we just won a bunch of money by raising up limpers. Let's go to player 6, and Shark, you know what note I'm going to take here? On player 6? Yeah. Was bottom pair on the flop? All right, hold on. Let me play this thing on the left here. So we've got ace 10. He's leading into us. A lot of times I lead donk bets. There are some draws out there, but I'm just going to go ahead and flat call. That's a good card. I can actually, this guy's short. Now he's betting real small, so I'm not going to let him get away with that. And I'm going to make a normal raise. Because if he's on a draw, I'm not going to let him get his draw for $1. That's one thing that players will do out of position a lot. I'm going to make him actually pay for his draw. I don't know what this is, but I'm calling. Oh, okay. Well, we sucked out on him anyway. All right. So like what hands are that, right? I mean, he bets out min, and yeah, he was king 4 and he let out with the 4, and then he turned the pair. I mean, it's fine, but that was such a small part of his range that I just didn't. There weren't a lot of 4s that made sense. I guess when he leads out, it kind of makes sense for a 4, and because of that, maybe I should have, maybe I should have raised, but I'm just not sure. It's. The thing is I'm not going to stress about. Oh wow. All right, so. Well, did you see what I said? All right, so yeah, that was kind of mean, but whatever. Yeah, I mean, it's a small part of his range. And oh well, you kind of it happens and you move on. But yeah, I think maybe raising the flop could have been better. Looking back on it, actually. It won't be this week. It won't be this week. Yeah, it'll be out there. It's one of the things I'm gonna do. So with this 7-9 here on the right table, we'll go to the actual live action. He just checked this back, and we do have a flush draw that could win. I'm going to go ahead and just fire out 50 cents because he probably just, you know, like when people check twice on this type of board, they probably don't have anything. They probably have absolutely nothing. And he flat calls, he's going to check back to us again most likely. I can probably fire out a bet here and take this down. It's a $2 pot, so it's actually kind of, you know, a decent pot to win. So, you know, I'm going to go ahead and make my odds a little better. Now here, 50 cents to get into 225. I'll call with the twos. I'm out of position. This guy's short, but I'm getting really good odds. And here I'm going to just bet $1.50. It took way too long to bet that. So he may look me up with like a queen. I don't know, but you know, I should have just bet immediately and bet like $1.50 or $2. I want to give myself the best price possible to make that bluff. But when he just checks like that over and over again, it's really tough to put him on anything. And here I'll check to the razor. There's a draw out there, so it's kind of nice. I can represent a draw. And now I kind of have to bet, and can't believe that checked around like that. But I'm gonna bet. Now look at the stack sizes. If I want to, like, say this guy with 30 bucks, if I want to stack him, I gotta build a pot. So I'm gonna bet almost full pot, and I'm not gonna worry about like how do I get value from an 8 here. What I want to worry about is like how do I get value from 2 pair. Yeah, I want to worry about how to get value from the hands that he really wants to call with. And honestly, I mean, some of those hands may be an 8. Maybe he does want to call with an 8. Now, how do I play this? Yeah, I'm out of position, so I could check and call like a bluff, but instead I'm just gonna make like a medium-sized bet because I don't think he can have much, and maybe he'll just a bluff catcher like an 8 or a 9 he might call with. And that's sort of what I'm trying to get value from, is just a weak pair. I'm not gonna bet full pot because I can't put a lot of decent hands. Yeah. I'll take it. All right, so we've got 10s here. We're in pretty poor position. We could make a squeeze play, you know, for the show. But this guy's an under-the-gun razor, and I'm getting good odds to call him. I'm deep, he's deep. If we hit a set here, we can crush him. Making it look easy. That guy bets out, which is sweet. That's the guy in the big blind. He might have a 3. Hopefully he doesn't have quad 3s. I don't think he would lead out with quads. And here I'm just going to kind of... Oh, my God. So this is kind of a tough spot. It's a little annoying. Re-raising is kind of tough. There is a club draw out there, so like I might not even have, you know... Like there could be ways that I might be behind. I'm gonna call, and the pot's gonna be pretty big. It's just like 3-betting this flop cold is just really aggressive. That's a great card, and I don't want leading out here is kind of bad too. I have to let these guys bet, I think. I think the 4 guy, I think he has aces and kings a lot here. And this guy, I think he has like, I don't know, like 4-3. I don't know what he has, but now I'm going to raise. I'm going to make kind of he bet $3 out. So I think he's got a club draw sometimes. So maybe he'll reshove over the top. That's fine. And here's kind of a weird spot. Like, if he did have a club draw, well, I don't think he would call with a club draw. If he did have one, though, it might be better to check to him. But I just can't afford that, and he should be able to call almost. You know, he only has $20 left behind, so he should call most of the time here. Really curious to see what he had. Oh wait, is that the guy I just stacked that was mad at me? Oh, I didn't even realize that. Wow, that should have factored into my play a little bit. Wow, that was a huge... I mean, like, it worked out fine, But like it worked out fine. But I mean, I probably maybe would have played it similar knowing it was him. I'm gonna look it up. Pull it up if I can. And I folded the 10 jack. He had 9-10. He had 10-9. So, he ended up, having top pair and then turning 2 pair. I could, yeah, I could. I mean, I'm not, I can raise those types of things. If it was on the button, then you can definitely do that, but yeah, I don't know why he's sitting out for quite a while for, playing, but that's that's okay. What was I gonna say? I try to, ups and downs. I try to keep my emotional kind of wavelength pretty even, because just like hitting and again the reason I want to raise here is do you know why? Is on the left table. Well, no, I mean I'm raising limpers, but do I mind getting all in with player 5? If I hit a king or a jack? Right, he's got a short stack, so I'm okay with doing that. And then here it's a pretty easy c bet on the right hand table, and I can c bet this half pot and get away from it. I expect him to shove all in over the top of this a lot, but that's okay. He's gonna fold enough. I do think he'll shove in over the top. Most of the time he'll have something, but just be aware that that's going to happen sometimes, and that's okay. And you can still make your continuation bet and just fold when they raise. Yeah, it's in the chat. I put it in the chat a little while ago. No, he had 2 pair. No, he turned it. Oh. I don't know. It is what it is, but that's okay. So yeah, like I was saying, I try to keep my emotions kind of on even keel. I don't like to, I don't like to jump up and down and fist pump when I win, and I don't like to throw stuff and break things when I lose. It's hard in tournaments sometimes when you're late in a tournament, because that's one of the things I don't like in tournaments. Is tournaments are just so, you can end up playing a much higher limit than you ever would want to in a tournament. And by that I mean sometimes the difference between 2 places will be 2 or 3 grand, and one hand ends up losing you 2 or 3 grand essentially. And I don't play those high stakes, so I don't really feel comfortable winning or losing that much off of one decision. So it's just very, very high stress. I have done very, very well in tournaments in the past, but it's just it's almost like I'd rather do that kind of for fun and for the kicks, but it's not always going to stay fun. It's going to be stressful sometimes. Sorry. So yeah, there was a question that one of my subscribers asked me a question on a video about this, and it was hey, how much do you make? How much are you making? How much do you win? And people want to know that all the time, like because it's interesting. Like, okay, you play poker, great. How much is that worth? Like, how much do you make doing that? And unfortunately, like it's going to be one of those it depends things. So here, let's look at stack sizes. Let's look at the player to our left. He's only got half a buy-in. The guy that we're in the worst position. We're getting what, 5-1 odds to call. So 5-1. I think we can limp the 5-6 suited, and we'll be able to play well post flop. Win rates vary. I will be able to do a lot more on that when I start playing on a different site, and I can track my win rates. What I recommend is, if you're curious about that, you can go to there's some sites that have stuff. Shark and I actually looked at this before the show a little bit because we were trying to figure out what his kind of win rate could be at the levels he's playing and what he should be looking for. And then I like to kind of just look at it to see what people are winning, what's sustainable. And so can they not hear the Skype call? Can you check and make sure that they're in the chat and make sure they're hearing the Skype call? All right. That's interesting. Well, can you listen to it for a minute? Like mute your mic and listen to it and see what you're hearing? Right. Can you listen to it? Can you listen to the chat? Listen to the call the Really? Okay. All right, let me look at that real quick and see if I can troubleshoot that. I should be so you're listening to it right now, and it's no you. Because you're not always talking either. Anyway, the the things that I for as far as win rate, let me answer the question before I'm surprised that I feel like we would have seen somebody say that earlier in the stream if that was the case. Okay. The only thing I can think of is that I'm gonna raise this queen jack. All right. Well, I don't want to stumble over. Okay. I don't want to stumble over the actual gameplay. So he limp raised this one. We're getting, 2-1 in position, but he doesn't have a lot behind. It's going to be tough. We kind of have to hit a hand here. I would expect that he's going to lead out almost all the time on the flop. So we're only calling to hit a hand. And even if we hit, we can't be sure we're going to be good. So I'm going to let him have this one. He limp re-raised. That could be a big hand sometimes. let me. Trying to no, it shouldn't. Oops. No, that's not what I want. Shoot, what did I just delete? Oh my gosh. Oh god. I just deleted the screen. Oh god. Hold on. Yeah. 1820. Okay. Oh god. And then add sorry. Alright, so alright, we're at about 2 hours. Time to be hitting the old dusty trail. That's incredibly unfortunate. Oh god. All right. Well. Okay. Wow, I can't believe so many people were watching with that going on. All right. I can add the Skype video, but I cannot figure out how to. Yeah. Oh, you know what? That's the other. Yeah, let me add a different screen region. That's why it screwed up. I was like, what is going on here? All right, let's see if this is the right size. 1920 by 1080. There we go. There we go. All right. So current balance, starting balance. All right. So the black bar. Okay. Wow. Well, I'm actually learning a lot about XSplit right now. So that's good. And yeah, they'll be back. You want to respond to, it looks like there's some stuff in the chat you can respond to while I'm digging it. Oh, shoot. No, okay. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. Really struggling right now. I apologize. Yeah. Okay, so I think what happened is another. All right, well, let's go over the good points of this. How much am I up? Why don't you go ahead and type it? Who's this shark guy? He's got an imaginary friend named Shark. Oh god. All right. So why isn't it capturing the sound? Playback devices. Okay. Recording. All right, see if anyone in the chat knows how to make it so that the Skype sound actually plays. Tools, options. Yeah, all right. Well, that's the high point of this. Anyway, what I'll point out is the quality of my videos over on YouTube is way more polished than my production quality on my live stream show. This is the I'm still gonna put this on YouTube because I think this is a pretty awesome first show. This is pretty epic. So let me see. So yeah, I keep sitting out. Oh my god, this is terrible. All right. See if anyone has any last minute questions. I'll answer any last minute questions and then we'll call it a show. Oh, hey, for anyone who didn't hear it earlier, all right. Again, my more polished work is over on YouTube. That isn't scrolling at the bottom of the screen anymore, but if you go below my stuff, you should be able to find my YouTube channel, Facebook page, and all that. And then I was going to do a sort of an announcement / giveaway announcement for doing a leak finder video. So you can go into the comments and you can post about how ridiculous it was that for 2 hours I talked to myself when I post this up on YouTube. But go into the comments of this video, or Wednesday I'll be making uploading a live sweat session. It's going to be called Leak Finder series, where I actually do a leak finder on Shark Slayer, who you guys haven't heard anything from this whole show. Yeah, it was the imaginary person that I thought you could all hear. So, yeah. Go ahead, post something in the comments on one of those 2 videos, and then I'll go through the comments. Just let me know that you have the ability to send me the information and that, you know, what kind of limit you play, and then I'll pick, and then if you go in the comments and you see, just put what site you play on, what limits you play, and whether or not you have tracking software. Just kind of put some information about your play, and then if you guys see someone that... when you guys see like the one you want to see, just vote that up. So then whichever one is voted up the most, that's probably what will end up. I'll have them send me a video, and then I'll do a leak finder on them and be able to, you know, learn something from their mistakes. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope if nothing else, it was entertaining. This is Unexceptional Rounder, and Shark Slayer's still kind of here, even though you can't hear him. And we're going to get this audio stuff worked out, and it should be up for the next show. So thanks, guys, for stopping by. Really had a good time. Hope you at least were entertained, if nothing else. All right, bye.